Good day and welcome to another edition of Zero to Hero in Python Programming. I remain your host, Abbas Olaya, and in case you are just joining us in this series, this is an extensive series on Python programming from beginning to the end. That's why I call it Zero to Hero in Python Programming. And today we'll be treating Advanced Graphical User Interface. We've treated Introduction to the Graphical User Interface. We've treated the pack method and geometry method. We've treated the grid geometry method, and I opened up to you that most of the time I use the grid geometry method. And today we just want to build what's on your screen. Basically, we want to build this, and basically we've been able to just partition them into this. So this is what it will actually, this is what the grid size look like. So when you are defining your grid size, this is what it looks like. You can see this one span multiple grids. Same thing with our text here and the likes like that. And you can see most of these things stand in each other's grid like that. So we want to treat how we can actually do it, because this is how things are done in the real world. Having said that, let's move straight into our today's tutorial. Advanced Graphical User Interface in Python. So basically, the first thing we do is what? We create our main window, we import Tkinter, create our window, we give it the title, we give it the geometry size, then what else? We define our grids, like what our interface will look like. So basically the text, we are saying advanced grid demo. So that's basically what I'm talking about here. Then I said, okay, we'll stand. The label starts from row 0, column 0, and spans how many columns? 3 columns. So, and if you notice from our grid here, you can see it's actually span 3 columns. Let me show you the one with the grids. You can see this is the first grid, second grid, third grid. So it spans 3 columns. So that's why I defined it to span 3 columns. But if I run it, if you notice something, it is still in the first column. So why is that? We'll see why that is now. So basically, the reason why it's that is because we've not defined the weight for each grid. So since it does not know the weight of each grid, it believes probably the 3 grids are not even up to its length. So it just take the whole length of the 3 grids. So basically, what we now did here is what we said, okay, column 0, the weight is 1, column 1, the weight is 1, column 2, the weight is 3, column 3, the weight is 3, column 4, the weight is 3. Basically, what we are saying is column 2 is thrice the size of column 1. Column 3 is thrice the size of column 1. Column 2 too. Then column 4 is thrice the size of. So that's basically that. Then we said we defined our rows. So we defined the weight for our rows. We said row 1, which is row 0 here, which is as with 1. Row 2 as with 10. Row 1 as with 10, row 2 as with 1, row 3 as with 3, row 4 as with 3. So if you check our grids here too, you can infer why that is. You can see 1, you can see 2, that's 0, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and the likes like that. So having said that, if we run this now, you can see our advanced grid demo now moves its position from just that first position to a more centralized position. So moving on from there, the next thing we want to do here now is we want to populate our first grid. That is this is our table here. Our table here, we want to populate it. So basically, the easiest way to populate, instead of we actually listing out everything we want and the likes, we imported the OS module. Then after importing the OS module, basically the OS module helps you to check into your system, the file directories in your system. We treated it, we had a tutorial on that. You can check previous tutorials in this series. So basically, I'm going into my Windows folder, system32. In case you don't know where to go in your system, check out that tutorial if you're on Mac system or Linux system to know exactly where you should go so that you can print out all the files in that particular place. So I'm going to my Windows folder, then system32. I'm saying file list.insert tkinter.end, then zones. I said zones in this. So every directory in that particular folder. So basically, this is what it's doing. So I'm coming back to my system here, then I'm going to my systems directory. I'm going to, where is it? Windows. Then I'm going to system32. So where is system32? This thing should be arranged alphabetically. So system32 is not there. So system32 is here. So basically, I'm printing out everything, every directory in this folder. So if I run that, you will see it will have 0409 1028 and the likes like that. So having said that, let's move on. So by the time I run this, you can see 409 and the likes like that. And if you are not using a normal mouse, you can just put 2 fingers on your touchpad so you can scroll up and down, or just click one of them, then you can use your arrow keys to move up and down. But that most of our clients might not know how to do that, so we have to add our own scroll bar, which is exactly what is here. This scroll bar here, we have to add it to our user interface too. So how do we do that? That's what we are doing in the next line. So to add our scroll bar, you can see what we are going to use is what? Scroll bar in the Tkinter library. So we call it scroll bar. So we are building on scroll bar now. So Tkinter.scroll bar, we are still in the main window. Then we are saying orientation should be vertical. Then we are saying file list. So it is interacting with this our file list, which is and we are interacting with it in the Y view, that is the vertical view, that is from top to bottom. So having said that, then we are saying, okay, start from row 1. You know, our file list is in row 1. Is in row 0. Sorry, file list. Okay, file list is in row 1. Yeah, row 1. Then we are telling this to start. So we are telling it to start from row 1:1. Okay, sorry, I'm not making a mistake. So basically, the row is from top to bottom. So row 1 is something like, okay, let me just open this. So this is our row 1. Row 0, then row 1. So we are telling it to start from row 1. Then the colon should start from colon 1, while our file is actually started from colon 0. So that's where I was mistaken. Then I'm saying, okay, stick to north, south, west. That is, start from the north, from the top. Then make sure you occupy south and west. That is from north to south. That's top to bottom of whatever you are occupying. Then stick yourself to the west. That is, stick yourself to the left hand side. Then the row you are spanning is 2. So that is, span from north to west. That is from top to bottom of 2 of these 2 rows. So if I run this now, you can see it started from top to bottom. As we are scrolling, it's actually scrolling what is inside there. But mind you, if you make the mistake of forgetting to add the row span, that you span 2 rows, let me just cut that out and run. You will see it will just, oh wow, it actually ran through the whole 2 rows. You can see, but it did not get down here, and that's because of the weight we set for our rows here. You can see we set 10 here and we set 1 here. That's why it's not occupying the 1. You want to see the actual beauty of setting the rows to be 2 now, then we can say, let me undo what I've just done. Let me still redo it. Let me redo it. Then come here and say row 2. You will see the beauty of what you've done now. You can see it's just from here to here, because we said this place to be 1 and we said this place to be 10. So this place is 10 times the size of this place. So I hope you are getting what I'm saying now. So, but having said that, let me just undo. I've already moved to another set of code. So let me just undo what I've done here. So I've changed it back. So it's spanning 2 rows now. So moving forward, then coming here now, we want to add our options frame. That is, we want to add this part of our code. This part, we want to add this part to our code. So basically, it will be on which row now? We are saying our options frame should be on row 1:2. That is, let's check. Row 1:2. That is row 0, row 1. Then colon 2. That's 0, 1, 2. This colon 2. So that's basically that. So having said that now, so we set that. Then we said, okay, int var. So what we are doing here with this int var is because we don't want them to be able to select more than one option. So for them to select one, so we are saying our RB value should be on the int var. Then we are setting it to be 3. So we can have just 3 options. Anything beyond 3 options, we can't have it. So the radio button, if you notice, the radio button is now applied to on our what? Options frame, which is, remember what I said the other time? Everything has a root. So the root of this is the option frame, and the root of the option frame is what? The main windows. So that's that on that, and we have set values for them. So we give each one file name. That's file name, a text, which is file name. The second one is path. The third one is timestamp. That's radio 1, radio 2, radio 3. And we give them value of 1, 2, 3. Then we are saying the variable should be set on RB_val. So that's so that we won't have more than the 3 options that we've set. Then here we are now telling it the grid of each of these radio buttons. So this one is on colon 0, row 0, colon 1, row 1, colon 0, row 2. So basically what is happening there is, let me open this again. So what's happening there is, what we are telling it to is colon 0, everything is on colon 0, so everything is on colon 0, and we set them to be on sticky to the west. So it's on the west hand side, that's the right hand side, and we are saying, okay, row 0, row 1, row 2, that's basically what we just said. And mind you, we were able to give this a text name here, which is a file detail. So remember that. So moving on now, if I run this, you can see it's now on, and if you compare it to actually what we have here, you can see it's actually occupying like exactly the same space and looking exactly alike. So moving on now, moving on to the next one now. So basically we've ran this. Okay, I've not closed it, so it won't stop running. So I've run that now. So moving on to this next line of code. So basically we want to check, okay, is this thing actually working? If it's working, how do we know it's working? So I basically said, okay, whenever we select any of our buttons, print whatever that button is doing. So that's what I wrote here. So see here now, if I run this, I could have selected this one, which will be 0. Remember when we were doing it, we set the value for them. 0, we said 1, sorry, file name is 1, path is 2, variable is 3. So if I select file name now and I close this window, you can see it's printing 1. If I run it again and I select path, the file name to be a path, and I close it to be 2. And if I run it again and I select timestamp, if I close it, it will be 3. So that's on that. So another thing we need to do is we need to be able to print this our results panel, so our people can type whatever results they have, as in it can print out whichever results they are getting. So how do we do that? So we bring in and we bring in the entry field. Remember we used the radio button for the last one. Here we are using the entry field. So basically where you can enter something, then I don't need to start explaining the southwest thing. That's from right, from downwards, that is the bottom of it, and on the right hand side. Then we are saying row 2 colon 2. If you check the grid thing, you will see it's on row 2 colon 2. So having said that, if I run this now, you can see it's on row 2. Remember what I said here, this is row 2 colon 2. So that's 0, 1, 2. Then 0, 1, 2. And remember the weight we said the other time. So basically this one is just occupying the amount of space that is available for it to occupy. So having said that, let's move on to the next one, where we will be defining what? That's the spin box for our time. So basically, you know, our time, we need to be able to select from the hour should be 0 to 24 hours, the minute should be 0 to 59 minutes, the second should be 0 to 59 seconds. So that's what we did here. So we set our spin box, we gave it a label frame and the likes like that. So for us to have the time and that box that covers it, then that's the label frame. If we get to, by the time we get to the date field, we will be using the label frame, we'll be using something else so that we won't have the label around it. So that, having said that, then the spin box, we said, okay, the value, that's when you set whatever value you have. We now use tuple. In case you don't know what tuple is, you can check one of the videos in this tutorial where we explain tuple and list and the likes like that. So basically, we are saying range 0 to 24, that is start from 0 and end at 24. Then you can actually use the value method to like this, or we can use from and to. That is the from. You remember from is a reserved word in Python. So that's basically where we have this underscore here. So from 0 to 59, so that we won't be using the same from that's already reserved in Python. People that design Tkinter put that into consideration while defining whatever they are defining. So our grid now, we said 0, 0, 0, 2. Then remember the grid for the time is underneath the scroll bar. So I mean, not the scroll bar, the content of that scroll thing. So that's why it's on column 0, but it's on row 3. Now the scroll thing took 2 rows. So now we are now saying start from the north, that is from the top, then span from the east to the west, that is from the right, from the left to the right, like that. So if we run this now, oh, it's giving me error. What is the error? Spinner not defined. Okay, spinner not defined as on second. So imagine I'm running into an error here. So don't be mad when you run into errors. You will always run into error, but the major thing is we should not relent in our effort. So basically I made a mistake, a typo here. So if I run it again now, I have my solution. But the thing is, this our time is too tilted to the left hand side. So we need to correct that. And again, there seems to be a missing box here. So if we run this, let me check which one is missing. This one should be end at 24. So it end at 23. This one will end at 59, like that. Then we don't have our second frame here. So let me check for what might be wrong. So the hour spinner, the minute spinner, the second spinner. So row 0, column 4. I don't know exactly what is wrong here, but we will find it out. Oh, sorry, I've run this twice. That's why. So if I run it again, I should be able to have my spinner. Exactly, I have the 3 spinners now. So that's the problem with what we are having here. So you can see I ran into errors myself. So if you run into errors, don't beat yourself up. Just look into your code and fix whatever problem it's having. So basically here now we want this to move a little bit from this side. We want to move a little bit from this side. It's too close to the edge. So basically we'll be adding padding. If you've done web development, you will understand what I mean by padding. Padding is just basically like adding space between inside the container you are in. You are adding space, like you don't want to touch the edges. So that's basically what I'm doing here. So you can use the X pad, and pad X, and we can use the pad Y. So we are doing pad X here. We are saying 36. So when we run this, you can see we have 36 space here. So that's pad X. Then we should have it on pad Y too, but it will just occupy whatever space it can occupy. So that's why it's more like it's in the center of the whole thing. You can actually increase the padding too if you want to increase it or decrease. So I can say 39 for example. Oh, sorry, I've clicked on something. If I run this now, you can see it's almost the same because we can't go beyond the size of this container here. So let me just undo what I did and go back to my 36. So another thing now is we want to add our date frame. That's where our dates will be. Remember when we're defining the other one the other time, we used what? We used the label frame, but here the date we just use frame. So we won't need to define any label for it. So that's basically why we use just the frame here. So when we did that, we then add labels for the days and the month and the year. Then remember we started from so to so, but the January to December, we don't want to use numbers. We want to use the January to December. So that's why we are defining our variable. Remember we used tuple the that time, but here we have to define everything one by one. Then we use from and to for the year too. So basically if we run that, we would have this. So we can just run this from, so you can see it's moving like that till 31st. Then we can move months. So don't worry, you can add the condition. By the time I do the project on building calculator and building the photo editor, you will understand how you can manipulate this so that February will show 29 days and the likes like that. And you can do it again for leap year and the likes like that. So in case you want to know how to do that, you can actually do it yourself. You can just add class and functions to these things and how they will function and the likes like that. But in case you don't understand how to do that, I will explain in another video tutorial that I will do. This one is just to show you how the user interface works. So Then another thing we need to add again is padding for that our date frame. So we add a little padding for it, so it will just move a little bit from that side, so it will look more well arranged. So this is where we'll stop this tutorial for today. But mind you, you can attempt to actually finish what we started. Let me just open the file so you can see it. You can actually finish what we started in this tutorial. You can build this from scratch. From where we stopped, we've done this and this. So basically what is remaining is this, and adding the functionality for this console to actually close whatever we are doing. So having said that, I will be seeing you in the next tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe. Sorry, this tutorial is long. Bye bye.